Right, but as mentioned last episode, we're going to use a time machine. We're going to go to here, active launch, and we're going to save his life. Hopefully. I'm still waiting for weird shenanigans to happen in between. While in stealth mode, Shu watches Yukinari stand in line for a while, but he's presented suddenly with a dilemma. How do I get him to leave the aquarium? He hadn't thought about it before coming and is now panicking a little. If I appear, I'd have to explain why I'm here when I'm supposed to be back in the dorms cooking. Maybe I can tell him there was a fire? A fire? People will notice if you go, hey, there was a fire. He comes back. No, what fire? It's pointless lies. While he's thinking about this, Yukinari gets to the front of the line. Ugh, no matter what idea I come up with, it sounds suspicious as hell. No way he'll believe me. Ticket for one, please. Shu's running out of time. Wait, if a fire at the dorms won't work, maybe... He follows Yukinari further into the aquarium. Once inside, Shu looks around until he finds a fire alarm. It should buy me some time and he'll be out of here at least. After making sure that no one is around, Shu materializes and pulls the fire alarm. The alarm blares loudly throughout the building. Startled, Yukinari immediately evacuates along with everyone else. Shu makes himself invisible again and follows the crowd out of the aquarium. Much easier. I don't know why we just didn't do that. That is the easiest thing we've had so far. Man, they'll figure out it was a false alarm any minute now, so I just have to think of a way to get him to... Just as Shu's thinking this, Yukinari abruptly turns and walks back into the direction of the dorms. The hell was he doing? Out of curiosity, he follows behind Yukinari. They soon arrive back at the dorm just as everyone is eating dinner. You're late, where were you? I went to the aquarium, but there was a fire and we had to evacuate the building. Then I got hungry, so I just decided to come back. What about your ticket? What about it? You paid to get in and then you just left like that. It's not like tickets are that expensive. Oh, that's right. Your little brother lives off a pittance amount of money and you just have all the money in the world? I mean, you can't have that much money if you're constantly buying tickets to the aquarium, so I doubt you have that much saved up. Ugh. You're such an easygoing guy. Oh, you're just in time to try Shu's cooking. I only helped. Natsume did all the real work. Grab a plate and sit down already. At least the memories aren't going to be violent this time, because we never spoke to Yukinari that much anyway, right? So it turned out okay. It's a good thing he's so impulsive, I guess. Yukinari's death averted, Shu turns to the present. End of Memento time period reached. Oh, man. Whatever. It worked. About 1 hour of time. You're still thinking about it? No, let's do nothing. An hour goes by while Shu wastes time loafing around in his room. Yukinari should be safe by now. I think I could take it easy. Might be better not to mess with time travel any more than I have to. Shu passes the time leisurely until Masaharu comes to get him. Hooray, we're the heroes. Do we know if Yukinari's alive yet? After studying with Masaharu for several hours, Shu returns to his room feeling drained. Chiaki walks in just a few minutes later. Man, we're going to be so drained. Tonight's nightmare is going to be a real bad one. Oh, hey, you're not getting ready for bed yet? Yeah, I am. This is how I sleep. Duh. I'm a mod, after all. I'm not. He gestures at Shu's clothes. While not everyone at the dorms goes to bed right at lights out, Shu typically doesn't stay up too late. Yeah, well, in a bit. Oh? Chiaki sounds distracted as he starts tidying up his desk area. Clearly he's already lost interest. It has been a long day. I probably should hit the sack early. Nobody's saying anything about Yukinari, but it's not like they talked about him much when he was alive. I'm sure things will be fine in the morning. Shu changes his pajamas and goes to bed. He's going to be dead. If we're that lackadaisical about it, he's dead. He dreams of desserts. A welcome change. It's because he's still dead. That's why. You're going to say something, everyone's going to be weirded out. That's why you didn't have nightmares. What? I'm mildly disappointed now. No offense, Yukinari, but I thought you were going to be dead. I was singing that train. Apparently, no, you're just alive. I'm mildly disappointed. Despite going through this twice already, Shu can't help but feel relieved when he sees Yukinari the next morning at breakfast. Some part of me was still afraid I'd wake up and he'd still be dead. This whole thing has just been a nightmare. Oh, good morning, Shu. Morning, Yukinari. This time around, more time passed between Yukinari's death and present compared to Shu's previous attempts at heroism. However, as usual, he still has all his previous memories intact. I'll probably get the fixed memories later, but it's still a lot of whiplash to deal with. I hope nobody asked me any super specific questions. It was pretty rowdy here last night, wasn't it? I could barely sleep because of all the noise. Seriously, what's with that timing? Just say yes! That's something you can give a vague enough answer to. You're fine! But before Shu has time to panic and start making up excuses or lies, Natsume sits down between them. Oh, Mochizuki was so excited about getting a girlfriend. You can't blame him for years for wanting to help him to celebrate. You're helping him. You were all celebrating him getting a girlfriend. Oh god, imagine what it's going to be like when they split up. Yes, I said when. Alright, fine, I'll say if. That's not as pessimistic. Oh, Mochizuki's one of the other guys in the dorm. Guess he finally confessed to the girl he had a crush on. Everyone around here was pretty depressed because of the police investigation and stuff, so there's no way we would have thrown a party like that when when there was still that kind of atmosphere. I hardly even know Mochizuki and still knew he had a huge crush on that girl. It's good he finally did something about it. It's rare for you to be so interested in other people's relationships and stuff, Shu. Taking after me, couldn't care less. Yeah, I guess I've changed since coming to live here. But being more compassionate does not mean you should start suddenly care about everyone's relationship problems. That's weird. He can't, of course, admit that his recent change of heart has almost nothing to do with the dorms. I wouldn't think like this now if it weren't for those murders. In a way, I'm almost glad they happened. This whole thing has really opened my eyes. You were glad that murders happened. You're not Ebenezer Scrooge. You don't need to point it out to you, you know. Oh, well, the only way that you don't end up this way is if we just murder all your friends. Is this an epic retelling of Scrooge? Oh my god. I might have just stumbled onto an incredible twist. After breakfast, Shu casually checks his time machine and is surprised to see that the seashell memento is missing. It's happened every time I save someone. I'm sure there's some reason for it, even if Kyosuke and Natsume have no idea what it is. Speaking of Kyosuke, he hasn't sent me a new message yet. Usually he's really quick about that. I wonder if he's busy. Or maybe he and Natsume solved the case. What if this is the last murder? Oh, you're tempting fate by saying stuff like that. Don't. She would have never imagined that he would long so much for his ordinary life back, but he's more than ready to return to a life without serial killers and time travel. It is pretty convenient, though, having this thing. I wonder if they'll let me keep the time machine after all of this is over. I deserve something for helping out, right? Yeah, monetary compensation, financial compensation of some kind, not, hey, you can keep this time machine. Whatever. Feeling more positive than he has in a long while, Shu gets ready to leave for school with a spring in his step. Who dies? Someone has to die. No new chapter. Something weird has to happen. I just know it has. Shu sits at his desk looking down at a sheet of paper on it. I've been staring at this blank page for like an hour. I'm not getting any ideas. His class was assigned the classic novel Kokoro to read and write an essay on, even after putting it off for as long as he possibly could, though he still doesn't feel motivated. I don't get why people say this book's a classic. This teacher's just a bag of dicks who doesn't love his wife. What's so great about that? That would be so witty, I imagine, if I knew what it was about. I have no idea. Literature makes no sense. It's because you're being forced to read it. If you just picked it up, you might enjoy it more. Maybe I should ask Natsume for help. Thinking of Natsume's occasional dark moods recently, however, Shu hesitates. A feeling of foreboding crackles down his spine like static. That was weird, to be fair, but we probably should go. I think I saw something I wasn't supposed to that day, but my grades have been super crappy and Natsume's been treating me normally since then. I'm pretty sure he won't get mad at me just for asking for help. I won't get anything done just by sitting here, may as well ask him. Okay, so that was the game deciding what route we were on, I presume. Shu grabs his copy of Kokoro and reads, and heads for his brother's room. He knocks on the door and Natsume is quick to answer. Yes? It's me, Natsume. You free? I need help with my homework. The door flies open before Shu has even time to finish his sentence. Something's weird. Instead of his older brother looking excited, however, Shu sees Yukinari on the other side of the threshold. Oh, hey, Yukinari. Hi, Shu. Was just on my way out. Okay. Yukinari walks past, and Shu spots Natsume sitting up on the edge of his bed, a book on his side. Is he sleeping? Shu, come in. I've always got time to help you. You're a weirdo, and now I know this is all fake. There's something weird about this. He scoots over a little on the bed, feeling relieved. Shu ignores Natsume's lower than usual tension and walks in, closing the door behind him. I'm guessing it's literature related. Hey! Don't assume that. I suck at all subjects, not just literature. Get it right. Yeah, we have to write an essay on Kokoro. You know, the Soseki novel? How could I forget? Mum and Dad named me after him. I thought we were named after the seasons. We were, but the kanji in my name is the same as Natsume Soseki's too. It's like killing two birds with one stone. I've never really thought about it like that, but that's a really morbid saying. But everyone says that, I'm just thinking too much. Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know Mum and Dad were into Soseki's novels. Well, he's famous. Pretty much everyone has to read Kokoro. You say that, I've never read Shakespeare. Probably due to me, like, you know, leaving England at 9, I guess, because the more I think about it, I have read a lot more Spanish literature. Oh, if anyone talks to me about Don Quixote, they're dying. I'm killing them. True, the conversation skids to a halt and a few awkward minutes pass by, so what are you having trouble with? I'm supposed to write an essay about the meaning of the novel, but that seems really broad to me, and even though I've read it, I don't get the point of the story. It just seems really shallow to me, like people only talk about it, and so they can sound cool. Has anyone here read Kokoro? Because this probably makes more sense to you than it does me. I see, but I don't want you just telling me the answer. Maybe we could just talk about it. I could throw some ideas around and stuff. This is unusual. Normally you just ask me to write the essay for you. I haven't done that kind of thing in years. Months. I just wanted to try being a little more open-minded. If lots of people like this book, maybe there's a reason for it and I'm just not getting it. It makes me happy that you're putting so much effort into trying to understand literature. I'll try and help you as best as I can. Why don't we start from the first part in the book? How does the narrator meet the teacher? I don't know whether sensei means teacher. Over the course of almost 2 hours, they talk about Kokoro up through the second part of the novel. The narrator's just an idiot. You think so? Yeah, first of all, I don't get why he idealizes teacher so much. And even though he doesn't understand teacher. Their ages are too far apart. The narrator thinks that teacher and his wife are in love and happy, but he doesn't know anything about love. And teacher knows that, so he pities him. The narrator doesn't even get that he's being pitied. And in the first place, teacher's pathetic for wallowing in his sadness for decades and not doing anything else. If he really loved his wife, he wouldn't be so much of a dick to her. Shu trails off, realizing that he's been going on a one-sided rant. Hang on. If he truly loved his wife, he wouldn't have been so much of a dick to her for so many years. I see what the game's doing here. It's supposed to be subtle to make you feel clever when you pick up on it, but is in fact quite obvious. Man. Oh shit. I think we spaced something. Did you know? Shu looks up. Yeah. That's not a pensive thought, that's an angry thought. Wow, I look like a human. My face now makes sense, I don't know what it is. Natsume's wearing a strange, almost vacant expression. He seems to be miles away. To love is to sin, do you understand this? Shu isn't able to answer. The air is all too still, and Shu breaks eye contact, feeling uncomfortable underneath his older brother's heavy gaze. After what feels like ages, Shu finally remembers that scene in the book where the narrator and teacher were watching the couple under the trees in Ueno. Did you know to love is to sin? Do you understand this? Natsume's talking about the book, right? I think teacher did love his wife, he just didn't know what to do about it. Shu hesitates, thinking over his words carefully before responding. And if he did, then why couldn't he be nicer to her? Why couldn't he do something with his life? Have you ever loved someone before? Of course. Have you ever been able to throw away everything for them? All your sadness, all the things you wanted, even your fear, everything? Well, no. It's not that easy, is it? I guess not. Shu thinks harder about teacher, crushed under his feelings of guilt. His mental image of teacher begins to overlap his image of Natsume. Yeah, see? It's really being spelt out for us at this time. Teacher really loved his wife. It would seem so. And he was able to realize his wish and marry her. Yes. But that didn't make him happy. His wife even says that he was different before. Of course, Shu thought this was before teacher's marriage, so his wife Shizu came at the cost of his friend Kei's death. Kei, who also loved Shizu, could not handle his love marrying another man. This was made worse by the fact that teacher had basically gotten engaged to Shizu without even telling Kei about it. It wasn't teacher's fault that he and his friend fell for the same woman, but he shouldn't have been so sneaky about it. Teacher was just that kind of person, that's why he suffered so much. I don't know, man, there's something weird here. Natsume is quiet for a while, seeming to ponder something. Finally, he asked Shuid quietly, do you think that teacher felt guilty over Kei's death? Truly? Saying something like that, when you know what I do, makes this very weird. Like, I don't know, you're killing someone? It's like you're asking yourself whether you should feel guilty over killing someone. I feel is what you're asking. Well, yeah, that's what his letter was all about at the end. He says that. What do you think he really felt? Let's try... never lie in visual novels. He was just saying that here, I think, is the lie. Rule number 1, never lie. Always tell the truth and you'll get right. I think he really felt guilty. Teacher was a coward, but he didn't want Kei to die. Of course he didn't want Kei to die, but it's not like they were absolute best friends. Ultimately, teacher was a selfish person. After his own family cheated him, he wanted to believe that he was virtuous, but his actions, his darkness, and tendency towards sin led to Kei's death. After that, teacher couldn't go on believing that he was virtuous. He hated other people so much, but he realized he was just like them. Kei's death made him understand that, and that's what he regrets. Oh no, after you said not to just give you the answer, I'm sorry, that's just what I think. You might see the story differently. It's no big deal, really. You're giving me a lot to think about. I guess I just took everything teacher said in his letter at face value and didn't think about it. You can't do that, even in visual novels. You have to imagine that there's some sort of ulterior motive all the time. Unless it's fading arts, in which case it's probably wank. But if that's really how teacher felt, isn't the novel kind of depressing? It just ends with teacher dying like that. Where's the meaning? Are we all supposed to kill ourselves? Jesus Christ, no. Just feel a little bad sometimes. I don't think Saseki was trying to say that. Personally, I think that just like how teacher understood himself after Kei's death, we might understand ourselves better after reading the book. If we can get catharsis from this instead of the experience of an actual person's death, maybe we can do something about it and not have to suffer like teacher did. Everyone's trying to find themselves, huh? That's why this book is still so famous after all these years. I think so, yeah. You've really given Kokoro a lot of thought, huh, Natsume? After I found out that he and I had the same name, I got curious and I couldn't stop reading. There's this progression to his books, you know? I think it's a shame most people only read Kokoro. You need to read deeper into that. Natsume was speaking as if that was experience or thinking about himself. That was not, oh, I'm thinking really deeply about literature, you know? Oh, sorry. You know how I got excited about literature? I just go on and on and on. No, it's okay. I mean, maybe before I would have gotten annoyed, but right now I think it's kind of neat hearing you talk about this stuff, and not just because I'm writing a paper on it. Thanks for indulging me. Natsume looks down at the book and smiles a little sadly. But even after thinking about all this, maybe the point there is that there is no point in life, it's just like that. Afterwards, Shu is able to finish his assignment, but the time he spent with his brother leaves him feeling unsettled and wondering if perhaps Natsume and teacher have more in common than his brother let on. Than his brother let on? He let on everything he needed! What? How could you be in the room for that conversation and still be in slight confusion? Yeah. The following Saturday after school, Natsume invites Shu and Masaharu to follow him to work. What? Why? I don't want to work. Is this really okay? I mean, you're supposed to be working. Yeah, it's okay. My boss is really laid back. Okay. Is something going on? Sort of. We're putting out some new products today, and I wanted you guys to be the first to try them. I came up with the ideas for some of them. I'm so sorry for everything I just said. I will totally go along with you to the bakery and try tasty things. Oh, that's pretty cool. I know Masaharu doesn't like sweets, but there's a dark chocolate and pastries and stuff that aren't so sugary. That's the stuff I'd be all over. Shu elbows Masaharu in the side. Other than the dark chocolate, milk chocolate's much better. Natsume doesn't usually ask us to do stuff like this. Masaharu's picking the worst time to be tsundere. Hate that word. After a long pause, Masaharu finally lets out a sigh. Alright, I don't mind giving stuff a try. Great, just come this way and... Natsume! Before the three of them can walk into the confectionery, a stubby-looking old man comes bustling out of the door. Boss! Natsume's boss gives Shu and Masaharu a once-over. Who are these guys? Oh, they're my younger brothers, sir. I asked them to come try our new pastries. Sorry to intrude, sir. Shu bows his head a little, show respect. I hope it's alright for them to be here. Actually, it's good you brought company. Was he supposed to look stereotypically Italian, or is that how he just came out? Oh? Yeah, since sales have been slow lately, it'd be a good try a more hands-on approach. Hands-on? You know, talk to customers, get them to come in and buy stuff. I only came because Natsume asked. I didn't come here to talk to customers. Don't be such a wimp, Masaharu, you'll be fine. It's not about how well I can do, I just wasn't expecting to... Oh, he's just bitching. You're not scared, are you? I know you're not that great with women, and most of the people who come here are women, after all. What? Only women go to bakeries? I did not know that. Obviously, he said mostly, so like 80%. I'm not sure that's true at all. I'm fine with women. Really? Yeah, and I'll prove it. Masaharu realizes all too late that he's been trapped in sighs loudly. You never fight fair. Maybe, but I always win. You don't have to help if you don't want to, Masaharu. I can't just let it go after Shu said all that crap. So you guys will help advertise? Sure, why not? Wonderful! The boss claps a hand and Masaharu's back jovially. He hits a bit too hard, causing Masaharu to cough. Masaharu's just terrible with people, but look, I wouldn't complain about this. We get loads of free treats for free. That's the best kind of treat. You don't have to pay for them. They're free.